Welcome to 3 Secrets for Safe Money and a Fabulous Future. I'm your host today, and my name is Chris Miller. I'm a legacy wealth strategist, and I've been in practice for 30 years. I've helped over 6,000 people protect their assets from catastrophic illness, long-term care, and the Great Depression. And I'm honored to be with you today. I have a lot to share, so we're going to be able to go through this. And as we go forward, I will be able to offer you a financial fitness strategy session to make sure that you're going in the right direction. So take notes, pay attention. I'll talk a little bit about this later. And for those of you that don't know who I am the author of the #1 best-selling book, Ready for Pre-Retirement. Plan retirement early, right? Well, that's basically how I got started, was when I saw in my practice, people were coming to my office and starting their retirement plan, usually in their 50s and 60s and 70s. Now, don't be offended by this, because that's pretty much what everybody does. You go to school, you learn how to make money, you get out of school, and what happens? You go to work and you make money, and most people usually give their money to someone else. And what do? They gamble it. So it's the odds, is it going to be there or isn't it going to be there, so that you have income for life, because that's really what we're going to need in third and fourth quarter life. Now, this financial fitness strategy I'm going to share with you a little later, but what I'll do is I'll look at your age, your health, your wealth. There's no charge for this. It takes us about 20 minutes. And it'll be based on everything I'm talking about today. Then we'll hop back on the phone. Virtually, I'll show you these strategies that I use. I only sell what I own. And I'm pretty excited about it, because it's pretty unique. As I said, I've been doing this for 3 decades. And that's a long time in the world of money. But there's things that stay consistently. I don't care if it's people that have multi-millions or just barely making it. There's some consistent things that are really important to everyone. And it is to make sure you plan. And that's what we all do. Procrastination is one of the biggest things that we all do. And what I want to do is inspire you to start now, because there's some really cool things that I'm going to be able to share with you. And because I've counseled thousands of people in 3 decades, during this time, this is really where I've learned about tax-free income for life and some really unique things that aren't very common to most people. But what I want to ask you before we jump in is, how will the market losses affect your savings? Are you paying unnecessary taxes on your investments? Are you paying too much state and federal income taxes? Are your assets protected if you need long-term care? So these are really important things. I want you to just ask yourself, because the important question is, do you want to protect your estate from losses, taxes, and long-term care? Yes, of course you do. Now, what's happening is that we're all trying to swim to the other side of the swimming pool, and there are all these alligators that are hidden that are trying to get us. And it was really my mom. My mom started this whole thing. It was about 2 decades into my practice, and my mom came up to me, and she had this piece of paper in her hand, and I looked at it and looked at her, and she had tears in her eyes. I said, "Mom, what's wrong?" She goes, "Honey, share this with your clients." I go, what is it? It was a bill. It was a bill from Stanford Hospital for 5 days of chemo. Get ready. 5 days of chemo, $90,000. Well, she had chemo every month for a year. Do the math. $1 million is not a lot of money. And I have multi-millionaire clients say, "Oh, well, I've got plenty of money. I don't need to worry about all that." But you would be surprised what happened. Now, thank God, my daddy was very successful. They had multi-millions, and they went through that with the catastrophic illness. So there are these alligators that are going to try to get us before we get to the other side of the swimming pool in one piece. So that's what I'm going to break down, what these alligators are. And you know, they're watching us really literally now 24/7. And the goal is that you can be safe and your money can be healthy from all of these dangers that are really lurking below. So you want to be mindful, because many Americans are questioning a lot of things right now. So just off the top, what do you think the first alligator is? Wild guess, right? Wall Street. Now, we know that the big crash is coming, and it's been postponed few years now, but everybody knows it, feels it. It's very volatile. One day everything's up, one day everything's down. And this is what I saw in my practice, was when the people got to their retirement, it was either up or down. When they hit the belt and they passed that retirement sign, if it was up, they won. If it was down, they lost. And this is really how I learned it. My first 10 years back in 1991, 92, people were living off the interest. I mean, they'd have money in the bank and interest was 12, 15%. So they lived off that. But now, after several crashes, there's not even enough interest rate to keep up with inflation. So there's some very crazy things that happen. Well, the second decade, after the 90s and 2000s, we had a couple of huge crashes there, and people lost 40%, 60% of their pensions. Some people totally had lost their pensions in 2008. So things change really fast, but there are ways that you can totally be ready for what is going to happen. And we all know that things are volatile. So what I want you to do is to be safe and never lose a dime in any stock market risk. That's why I can look you in the eyes and say, no one on my watch has ever lost one dime in any market risk. I only show people safe money strategies. And now you can catch good gains with the market, but like I said, the problem is the risk, and nobody knows when the floor is going to drop out. So it's like a casino. And we all saw what happened in 2008, and we're really kind of right there again at the time of this recording. So remember, it's just not what you earn, it's what you keep. And when you get to retirement, what's really going to be important to you isn't so much how much money you have in the bank, or assets you have. It's how much money you're going to be paid in income, because income is really king in retirement. That's where the rubber meets the road. I have a lot of multi-millionaire clients. I mean, they have real estate and they have all kinds of things, but they don't have income. And all of that's volatile. Stocks are volatile, real estate is volatile, and I'll tell you why. Oh, not this. We all know. These taxes are humongous. Now, we've been in the lowest taxes that we've ever been in the last 4 years, and now we're going to flip. And these taxes are going to get a lot of us, really. Now, you know, I was really honored several years ago to be invited to Washington, D.C. I'm a national speaker. Like I said, I'm a #1 best-selling author, and I go all over the country and speak to groups. Lately, we've been doing virtual. I'm happy to come to any groups you may have and share all these good things with you. But at the time, I was invited to the Government Financial Officers Association. These are all the people that handle the billions and trillions of dollars. They are managing all of this. There was 200 or 300 people there, and I said, how many of you are ready for retirement? Crickets. I looked around, it was almost kind of nervous, like there was only a couple % of people that raised their hand, and it was shocking. And I had the director of the GFOA right next to me, and I said, well, you know, why do you think that nobody is ready? And he looked and he said, you know, we're busy taking care of other people's money. That sounds familiar. It reminds me of all my clients that are busy raising kids, busy working, busy with everything that's coming at us so fast in the times that we live. But don't be too busy to plan. This is where people fail, is they don't plan. So when I gave this presentation, I had to make sure, and this is a few years ago, I'll have to get an update. But as of then, this is enough. There were 74,608, 75,000 pages in the IRS code book. That's 870 different tax chapters. You think you might be missing something in your taxes? There are some very creative strategies that will enable you to lower your taxes. We're going to talk about those. So the 4 major taxes that you'll be concerned about: Social Security, capital gains taxes, taxes on interest income, and taxes on death. All of these things are what you're vulnerable for. Now, let's just talk a little bit about Social Security. And now Social Security, how are they going to figure that? You know, you can't be taxed on your Social Security too if you're working. Now, how will they determine this? Well, if you're married, you make $32,000, or you're single and you make $25,000, they can use 50% in that calculation. That's right. It doesn't mean they take 50%, but they use that in the calculations. They're going to take more taxes out of your estate. And then if you're married, you make $44,000, or single, $34,000, they can use 80% from the calculation from your Social Security. So you're not getting what you think you really are. Now we have the capital gains taxes, and we were blessed the last few years because those got pushed up really high, but they're going to be changing that again, back again. And they're going to be lowering that. So we have capital gains, that was estate taxes, and then we have capital gains taxes on real estate. That's going to be changing too. All of this is changing again. So you want to take this simple test to see how you can save on taxes. Look at your 1040 form. Everybody's got those out right now. And if you're showing box 8A, 8B, or 9, this is going to be showing you that you are paying too much taxes. And this is what I could show you in our financial fitness strategy session: how to lower your taxes, keep more income. And then the estate tax. Now they're like I said, they're going to clobber everybody on that. But it's really important because that tax can go as high as 55%. That's right, with everything that's above the threshold that they set. And then we have different kinds of trusts that will let you avoid estate taxes, that you'll be actually able to eliminate capital gains, eliminate estate taxes. Now, there are ways that you can defer taxes and lower taxes with traditional tax deferred annuities. Those are my favorite. Why? Because not one person ever lost $1 in the Great Depression in an annuity. And I like equity index annuities. There's a lot out there. There's some bad ones. There's some good ones. I have a few that I really like, which pretty much most of my retirement is in equity index annuities and investable life insurance, which is tax-free. We have muni bonds. Well, that was really in the 90s a great way to go. But honestly, right now, I would not want to invest in any bankrupt cities, right? And then the tax-free, that's the IUL that I keep alluding to here, where you can literally take tax-free income for life. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then Series E bonds, those are kind of a thing of the past too. They don't even stay up with inflation, and they're volatile. I don't like volatility. I like safety. So how important is tax deferral? Interest on your principal, that's simple interest. Interest on your interest, that's compound interest. And interest on the deferred taxes, that's triple compounding. That means your money grows 3 times as fast when it's tax deferred. And that really counts a lot because time flies. Remember this guy? I don't know if you're old enough. Well, he's still performing, God bless him, but this is Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, right? Rolling Stones, age 29, 4 decades later. Okay. So I'm sure he has an annuity at this point in life, guaranteed income. You want to be safe. So what's more important? Peace of mind or higher rate of return. To me, having everything safe, liquid, with tax advantages, no probate, good return without a risk, and your money's protected from catastrophic illness and nursing homes. And in this pandemic era, these things are really important. Important. Okay, annuities. Now, an annuity is like a savings account with an insurance company. And what it does, it has a floor on it. So you never lose your principal. It can only go up. If the market goes up 2%, you get 2%. If the market goes down 2%, your money locks in. You never, ever lose your principal. So there's no risk. The money's tax deferred. It's going to go 3 times as fast. You can take a 10% free withdrawal if you needed it. And the interest rates on these things are amazing. Now, the accumulation annuity, and I'm only working with A and A plus companies, their interest rates in the last 10 years have been 5.93 to 9.33. That's the range that they've performed in. And then they have income for life annuities that will literally take your money and pay you out for life. Depending on your age, it usually doubles and triples what you put in there. Income for life. And these are guaranteed contracts. You never lose your principal. They have a surrender charge, meaning a term. It's not like you put your money in there and 100% is liquid. It's like a 10-year annuity. You can take 10% out every year. But if you're having income, it really doesn't matter because that money's paid for life. So again, do you want less taxes and make more money? Yes. Affirm it. Yes. So we're going to take that triple compounding and we are going to grow it. And it really is amazing, depending on how early you start, how these things work. Now, I'm going to save you 30 years of learning and give you the PhD on money. Okay, there's only 2 places your money will be at retirement: taxable and tax-free. That's the big thing. There's a lot to this. So when you look at taxable, you look at your stocks, your mutual funds, your IRAs, all of those things, right? And all of that, your IRA and your retirement, now think about this, they're going to be taxed at ordinary income. So say if you have $1 million, or remove some zeros, 100,000, that 100,000, 40% is really 60 once you pay the taxes. So when you're planning, you have to look at all of these variables and how they're going to affect your principal so it can pay you for life. That's the art. Now, there are a few tax-free things left. We have muni bonds, Roth IRAs, and investable life insurance. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of muni bonds. Back in the day, in the 90s, that was great. That was the way to go, but I wouldn't do it right now. Too much volatility, too many bankrupt cities. Roth IRAs, well, that's great too, not to have to pay taxes, but think about this. Where is that Roth IRA invested? Risk. It's in some kind of a mutual fund or stock. And if you make 100,000 as an individual or 160 as a family, you're not allowed to be able to put, you're limited on how much you're able to put in a Roth IRA. So that's not the most fabulous way to go. The most fabulous way to go is what's called investable life insurance, because the money that's going to come out of there will come out tax-free. Let me tell you how it works. Okay, here's your IRA, right? And like I was saying, it's not really going to be worth as much as you think it is. When you draw your retirement income from an IRA, you will owe ordinary taxes and ordinary income tax rates. Think about this. Really important for when you're planning. There's a solution. It's called the IRA Reboot. That's right. It allows you to convert your IRA into a tax-free vehicle with no out-of-pocket costs. So this is how it works. Your IRA is taxable. The real value of your account could be 20 to 40% less than you expect. So what we do to reboot this is we're going to take this million, or if you have 100,000, whatever, the zeros don't matter. Here's the idea. We're going to take this, we're going to put it into what's called investable life insurance. And over several years. You can't put it in all at once because it becomes a modified endowment contract, which is taxable. But this is going to be over several years. We fund the life insurance. Now we can literally pay the taxes with the death benefit. So our full principal can go in there and grow at anywhere from 6 to 9%. It's so beautiful because these taxes are paid by the death benefit. You know, when you think about life insurance, you think about, oh, well, I put this life insurance premium in for a death benefit. But now we're putting a premium in for a living benefit. It's called accelerated death benefits. So you take your death benefit and live on it during life. It's so cool, you know, and it was hidden. It literally took me decades to find it. Even in my practice, these things are buried. Not a lot of people know about it, and they should. And that's why I'm telling everybody about it. But the real value is that it really reduced your taxes a third to a half during this conversion. That's right, because you're using the death benefit, so your full principal is in there growing. Now the money that comes out is tax-free. And so if you're in the 40% tax bracket, that money is worth 20 to 40% more because you're not paying taxes. Then guess what? There's tax-free long-term care built inside of there. So when you get in your third and fourth quarter, you can use 2% of the death benefit if you have a catastrophic illness. And what my 1% clients are doing is stay in your own home. Make your nursing home your home. Then you can take that payment, hire your friends and family, and keep all the money in the estate and not have to go into a nursing home with all the, things that are happening there, right? Stay in your own home. That's the hybrid way to do catastrophic illness. If you get a big C, right, a corona or a cancer, you'd be able to stay in your own home and manage your own care and get well. Now, the beautiful part too is whatever's left over transfers to your beneficiary tax-free. This one is a little hard to my heart, and the only way that I can sit here and share it without crying is that my mommy empowered me with sharing it and asking me to share it with you as I did. The story of her chemo, $1 million a year, like I told you, that didn't include drugs, therapy, right? It didn't include having to hire a caregiver because we wouldn't and didn't want to and wouldn't put my mom in a nursing home. We wanted her to be home. So we paid for care. Now, this is back in 2010. So these prices have changed too. But back at that time, my mom's care was $15,000 a month, pretty much, right? It was crazy. And thank God my dad was successful. He went to college at Caltech, and Einstein was one of his teachers, so he was very successful, and he was a genius. And he created some very neat things and was very successful. So he had multi-million dollars and was able to just pay this money. He didn't do the kind of catastrophic illness planning. Even when I suggested it to him, Dad, we're living longer than before, and Mom has cancer. And she had like a couple years where it kind of went away. And that's when I mentioned it to him. He was like, no, I'm never going to a nursing home. Okay. But 7 out of 10 of us do. These stats have probably changed again. But the point is, 2/3 of people are going to become penniless. Medicare does not cover it. Really doesn't cover much. And 1 in 5 under 50 is at risk of needing a nursing home. I believe those numbers are higher with the coronavirus, but these are why I'm putting the 911 to get your attention on this, because it's so important. What are your choices? You do have a choice. You either buy long-term care insurance, get a modified and some sort of a plan or do Medicaid planning. Well, I just want to skip the bottom two, and really buying standalone long-term care is like buying car insurance. So you're paying money every month that just bye-bye, you're never going to see it again. And it's not the best way to go. Now, if you're in good health, then you can qualify for the Index Universal Life. That's the hybrid life insurance that gives you the tax-free income, can also give you the long-term care, so you can stay in your own home. That would be my first suggestion. Sometimes people don't have a lot of money and just the standalone is the only way to go, but that would be the best way to go. And mind you, you gotta expect the unexpected. We are living in crazy times, 911 times. And what happens is, well, I live in California. We live in a fire area. I have a backpack ready to go. An emergency, earthquakes, fires. Some of you live in hurricanes, whatever's going to happen next, right? Tornadoes. You have your 911 bag with your compass, your flashlight, right? All those kinds of things. You need to have that. You also need to have it with your money. Expect the unexpected. Now, 3 out of 100 have a fire in their home, and 18 out of 100 people will have a car accident, right? And all of you guys have home insurance, and all of you have car insurance, I hope. If not, you're under arrest, right? 7 out of 10, and I believe that stat's higher now with the corona, will need long-term care, catastrophic illness protection. So what are you going to do? You're either going to pay out of your pocket, good luck with that, buy long-term care, or do Medicaid planning. Now, I was just telling you, the cost of a nursing home is anywhere from $170 to $1,000 per day. That could pretty much wipe most people's estates out. The full-time care is $250 to $350 per day. And that's why my mom's care hit pretty much $15,000 a month. Now, when my mom passed first, my dad was working till he was 91, and he had a fall, and he couldn't work anymore. We got him full-time care. Guess what? That care for him, I got a CNA fingerprint approved, beautiful caregivers. Their care was $10 per hour. That was $70,000 a year out of pocket. That's really not the way you want to plan. You want to make sure that you protect yourself. You're the most valuable asset, and make sure, look, you protect your car, you protect your house. How about you? Most important asset is you. So, and it's a really very important thing for your family. It's not what you want to leave your family. It was catastrophic for me having to figure this out for my dad. I never looked in his drawers. I had no idea how much money he had. And when I looked at how much money he had after my mom's cancer, and he wanted to live to 100, I had to start working harder because it wasn't going to last. It's going to run out. And that's kind of stressful. You don't want to leave stress to your family or your spouse. So it's really important to make sure that you cover this in the plan. So when we're planning, we're looking at everything. And there's 3 things, like I said in my #1 best-selling book. You guys, it's really important to protect your assets from catastrophic illness, long-term care, nursing home costs, and the Great Depression. Okay. Make sure that your catastrophic illness covers you in your home, in a nursing home. You need someone to come and cook and clean. All of those things are covered. And it's so important. There are actually annuities that can actually create long-term care for you that are not underwritten. And these are pretty creative too, that you would be able to actually get some care for yourself with the money that you have and be able to stay in your home as long as you can. So it's really, really important. And this is the time to move your investments into annuity. Get your money safe. I feel like I'm the voice in the wilderness saying, be prepared. Really, can you afford, if you're you've been working for 20, 40 years. Can you afford to lose any of your assets? And mind you, we are headed to another one. You can't build, print trillions of dollars in this last year. They have or are going to print $11.9 trillion. How long do you think this is going to go on? There's no gold backing to this money. It's just paper. Do you hear the voice in the wilderness? Be prepared. Be ready. Since George Washington till now, there was only 29 trillion in debt. So in 1 year, we've created half of that debt already. So this is really important. Your ideal investment is to make sure your money is safe. You can have guaranteed income for life. Your interest is free from Social Security tax, which we touched on lightly. You can make withdrawals without penalties. There's no sales charges. I'm not a fee-based broker. I get one commission, but I'm with you for life. And I literally call and take care of my clients for life. I make myself available so you can call me anytime. I don't charge you by the phone call. I hate that. And it's a beautiful win-win situation for everyone. So this is how I first started. When I started my practice back in 1991, I'm a paralegal and I started doing living trust. And when I created my living trust, I learned that nobody knew about it. I was working with an attorney at the time, and there was a little widow in our office, and he was charging $5,000 for his trust in 1991. And all she had was a car and a house. And he said, up $5,000. And I looked at him and I said, can't you give her a deal? She didn't have any money in the bank. And he said, no. And I said, bye. I said, I'm out of here. I can't do that. Yeah, do unto others, be nice. So that's how I started my practice. And I give glory to God because I'm one of the first people in the country to do workshops on what's the difference between a will and a trust. No one even knew that living trusts have been around since the Middle Ages, and only the rich people knew about them. That's right. That's a long time to be hidden from people. And only in the last 30, 35 years have people learned about living trust. Now, so let's talk real briefly about what it is. Living trust, probate's courts. So what happens after you die? Most people have a will. And what happens is your estate, which is basically everything that you own, all your assets, will end up in probate, which is courts, which take attorneys, which take, I know, I hear you, right? Money, everybody knows that answer. So let's follow a typical estate through probate and see what happens. Let's look at the Andersons family. Now, the Andersons family, they had a problem. They didn't have a living trust. So they ended up in probate. And they ended up in a long, timely process. The cost is crazy. They take 5 to 25% of your estate in probate fees, and it's public record. And, we have the gift taxes and all these different things, but the probate made them vulnerable. Now, I just wanted to let you know that these taxes are going to change again. So if you don't have this set up right, in your plan in probate, because if you have an estate that's worth more than 11 million, we have to do different kind of planning. But I think they're going to lower it back down to $1 million, so we have to do different kind of planning with your trust. Just putting that in there so you're mindful about the taxes have to do with your trust planning. So there are 3 basic distribution techniques: to do nothing, have a will, and set up a trust. What's dying intestate? Just means doing nothing. And that means your estate will be vulnerable to all the fees and taxes that are imposed upon your death. Oh, will joint tenancy protect you from probate? No, not really. Because what happens is I mean, it would protect you in a sense, but you lose so many benefits. One, what happens if you both go together? Two, you lose your capital gains stepped up tax basis that the living trust gives you. You'll be vulnerable to any joint tenants creditor claims. So if one of your joint tenants has a problem with the IRS or any creditors, they can attach your money because their name is on there. Joint tenancy is not the safest way to set your estate up. There are a number of things you want to be aware of. Now, what about a will? A will is simply a list of instructions that tell the judge exactly how you would like to have your estate distributed. And it will allow you to basically go to court. You'll be vulnerable to all the fees and taxes that are imposed upon your death and guaranteed a trip through probate. A very cool thing about a living trust is it can act as a prenuptial agreement if you set it up right. For example, California's community property state means everybody owns 50-50. But if you have your trust set up properly, you can actually set, if you have a second marriage, you can set your third marriage up to that marriage and keep your assets protected for your first or your second set of kids. And those are deep dives, and that's what we do in our financial fitness strategies. We talk about what and how all these strategies relate to you. Distribution techniques, again, the living trust is my favorite because it actually helps you avoid, that's right, completely avoid the courts. How easy it is, all your heirs need is the original trust. You don't need me, you don't need attorneys, you don't need court. All you need is a trust and the death certificate. That's how easy it is. And that's why pretty much only the politicians and rich people have known about this since the Middle Ages. So we're telling everybody and tell your friends because it's really important. Why work your whole life and lose it in probate nursing homes, right, and the Great Depression? So living trusts help you control the distribution of your estate, minimizes the fees and taxes that are imposed upon your death, and totally avoids probate. It also avoids conservatorship because if you become incapacitated, you'll be vulnerable to all those problems. In other words, the court will come in and appoint somebody to you. 2/3 of all the matters that go through probate are for conservatorship. So it's really, really important that you have that money safe. Really important. And inside of your trust, there is a provision for conservatorship and guardianship. Look, if you have minor children, I bet you most of you don't think about this. Mom and dad go out to dinner. Mom and dad don't come out back from dinner. Who's going to take care of the kids? Right? You need to have this plan. You need to have it now. The beautiful thing about the trust, it allows you to maintain full, complete control over all the assets you wish to place in the trust. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Well, how do living trusts work? When you set up a living trust, you transfer all the assets you wish to place in the trust from you as an individual to you yourself, trustee of the trust. And it's really a nice process since we've done over 6,000 of them. And thank God, never had one problem. They work. That's right. Not one problem. They work just fine. People ask me all the time, well, how come we haven't heard about this before? Basically, probate's big business. Attorneys make a lot more money in probate than they do making a living trust. And, you know, to retain attorney, it's $15,000, $20,000 just to start. And then they're going to take 5 to 25% of the estate. Okay, let's just talk about a few case strategies and then we'll wrap up here. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can chat in the chat box. You can send me an email at Chris, KRIS, at healthymoneyhappylife.com to set up an appointment. Our office is 951-926-4158. And I just want to run through these little slides with you about the strategies. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they have 2 children. They're smart. They get a trust. Their estate's worth 200. This trust is going to help them avoid a fee of $30,000 to $50,000 in probate fees. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Smith have 2 children, and they're both married, and at the death of the second spouse is when they're going to receive all the assets in the trust without going through probate, from mom and dad right to the kids. Now, this AB marital trust is for people right now that have over $11 million as a single, 22 if you're married, but that law is going to change technically in 2025. I think they're going to change it earlier, so pay attention. It was $1 million 4 years ago, so make sure you pay attention. And what it does, it'll let you avoid the estate tax. And we can drill down later on our call if that relates to you. But Mr. Goodman, he's a widower, he has no children, and his estate's worth $350,000. So he's going to leave his estate to some children of some lifelong friends, and at his death, those assets will go to his friends' children. He literally can control this estate after those kids do what he actually can say. In other words, he can dictate, say, well, you have to be this age, you got to go to college or trade school, and this money's going to be used this way. Bing Crosby did that. Bing Crosby set up his trust, and you had to be doing something for the world, like write a book or do some charitable thing. It'd be age 65 before you could get any of his millions of dollars. So he didn't want to, he wanted them to work for it, basically. And Mr. Goodman might do the same thing, but these could really be customized for you and your family. Now, a few other estate planning strategies that our trust includes is the living will. The living will authorizes the termination of any artificial life support in the event of any terminal illness. Power of attorney for financial, I don't care if you don't have a lot of money, very important to have, because if you become incapacitated, get sick, right, God forbid, you can have someone that you trust and love. Have your power of attorney so they can take care of your financial matters for you till you get well. Power of attorney for healthcare, very important that you want your medical treatments followed. I'm really into alternative health. I'm a vegan. I want to make sure the things that I want are unique. They're different. So my power of attorney designates just what I want. And everybody has different things. There's no judgment. Do what you feel is right. Give it to your doctor ahead of time. And that way they will be able to honor what you want. And so everybody's empowered by having all these legal documents ahead of time. And you know what? It gives you peace of mind. You're not worried about what you have and where it is. So again, keep your money out of court, out of probate. The cure is a living trust, making sure all your titles are in the name of the trust and all your beneficiaries are properly set up. And you get to avoid living probate and any of these problems that come from not being prepared. Avoiding probate. What a blessing that you'll be able to share this with your family. Now, a few other strategies that we'll briefly talk about is your banker. Now, it's okay for emergency funds, but I have a lot of clients that go to their banker and say, what happens if I go to a nursing home? And they have no clue. And they'll say, go to an elder estate planning attorney or go see a senior financial elder planner like me, right? I'm a legacy wealth strategist. I've done this for 30 years and I've been very successful. And it's my joy to be able to share this with you. So you got to watch where you take your advice from and why people tell you what they tell you. Banks, everything is automated. They don't have any interest rates. If you have money in the bank, you're not even keeping up with inflation, and you're paying taxes on money you're losing. So what I'm saying is you got to be prepared and take time out. Take time out to learn. Get my book. It's on Amazon. It's on my website, Healthy Money happylife.com. Read all about me. I'm a national speaker, and you can get the book, and inside the book, there's little instructions and things that tell you how to start setting up, and then it will help you hop on the phone with me so you can get it done. So don't put it off. We all have these alligators. I have one too. I don't know where I put mine. Procrastination. I know it's somewhere. Maybe it's under the bed. Maybe it's in the closet. Don't do it. Let's get rid of these alligators. Let's do it now so that you can retire rich, retire stress-free. The goal is financial peace of mind. So when I tell people you get your estate in order, it gives you an estate of mind. It really does give you peace of mind, not worrying that all those things still have to be organized. So it's my joy to help you set all of these things. And I know it's uncomfortable. It's hard to trust people. You know, money is emotional. Oh, my husband banked at this bank and I don't want to move the money or whatever. We get emotionally bound up by all that. We'll break the binds, break the chains, and the idea is to do it, right? So do you want more safe money? Raise your hand, say yes, reach out to me. We'll hop up or a call. We'll set up a virtual, hop on the phone. I get information from your age, your health, your wealth. Then I'm going to create a plan, right? A healthy money plan. And I'm going to share it with you virtually. Then I'm going to email it all to you so you can review it. Then we'll have another one where we'll answer any questions. There's no charge for this. That's how much I believe in it. If you like it, that's how I get paid. If you don't like it, I do such a good job, you're going to tell your friends. That's how I've been successful. And it works. So eliminate the confusion. Don't be obligated by the past and come for the financial fitness strategy session. So important question is, do you want to protect your estate from losses, taxes, and long-term care costs? Yes. The idea is yes. We all want to protect our assets from catastrophic illness. Now, this is a webinar, so you'll be getting this, and I want you to take note. Either in the chat box when you see this, there should also be a sign up for an appointment that shows up. If you don't see that, I want you to go ahead and email me for the financial fitness strategy session. Call my office, 951-926-4158. Email Chris, K-R-I-S, at healthymoneyhappylife.com. And I will follow up with you to set up a call and we'll hop on the phone. Now, remember, it wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. Got a little sunshine out. The calm before the storm, as they say. So you want to be prepared. And I have humongous resume. It's not an ego, it's just the experience. I've been working with banks. Presently, I have many banks that refer people to me. They know I do a good job and I'm affordable. And so I'm happy to help you. Please make sure that you reach out to me. Again, 951-926-4158. Reach out, send me an email, send me a chat, and we can hop on the phone, and I'll be glad to give you a financial fitness strategy. I know you have a lot of personal questions, so I look forward to talking to you at our financial fitness strategy session. And again, I want to thank you all for attending our 3 secrets for safe money and a fabulous future. Like I said, it's not secret, it's just not talk about it. So let's talk about it so your money is safe and you have health, wealth, and peace of mind. Thank you so much, and God bless.